my mouse is quivering with anticipation over the record button.
Hello and welcome to episode 83 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And for the first time ever, we
Very
are
first.
joined by Oculus Imperia. Say hello.
Hello, it's good to be here. Thank you guys for having me on. It's wonderful to get the chance to do this. Thank you for the
No, thank you for
opportunity.
tolerating us and stuff.
Oh, hush, hush, hush.
Because yes, Matt is once again not here this week.
He's in prison.
No. Let's be honest. 'Cause, I mean, there was because we said last week that he was in prison, but we were actually just covering up for him because he's very shy. The actual reason that he's not here is because he's in hospital.
Because he got his bum stuck in a walnut whip.
Again, you're covering for him. He didn't want it. He just didn't want it to be known that he did the selfless act of that he threw himself on a grenade to save a poor, starving child. Unfortunately, he threw himself ass first, and his ass has been blown off, and he's waiting for a transplant.
Yeah. We don't know why he puts himself in these kind of positions, but there we go.
But that's the situation that he's in, and we hope for a speedy recovery, and he should be back by the next episode.
Thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers for his ass.
Thoughts and prayers, R.I.P. in peace.
Rip in pieces, drummer butt's butt.
Yep. But yeah, just a general thing to just sort of mention before we get into the main podcast. The latest Codex Compliant is up, so if you haven't watched that, please go and watch that. It took a lot of work. Very sorry it took a long time to come out, but real life kind of got in the way a bit. You know how that happens. And yeah, it's all about Codex Space Marines from 3rd edition.
It's pretty good.
Which is one of the...
You should probably watch it if you want, I don't care.
Yeah, it's probably pretty good.
It's fine.
Codex Space Marines 3rd edition was, in fact, the second codex I ever owned after the after the 3.5 Dark Eldar, which shows you the terrible hobby decisions I made when I was 13 years old. But I'm very much looking forward to watching that particular video.
In fairness, the very first codex I ever had was the just flat 3rd edition Dark Eldar, so...
Oh, that one. Before
So you both make terrible decisions.
Yeah.
Technically, he made a more terrible decision than I did, because
That's actually fair.
that means he got the 3rd edition Dark Eldar Codex before it got updated to make them in any way viable.
Yep. Unsurprisingly, I didn't play Dark Eldar for very long, and then I picked up Dark Angels.
Because you have to play an army with the initials of DA.
Apparently.
Because Eldar starts with A.
Apparently. You were hoping to just get away with that,
You were hoping to get away with
Yeah.
it, but she managed to update it with current lore friendliness.
Yeah.
So I approve.
Yeah.
Also, I did exactly the same thing. After like 2 games maybe, I ditched Dark Eldar in favor of Salamanders.
Salamanders are pretty rad, though.
The fun thing was, I bought the Dark Angels Codex, and then after buying it, got home and realised that I also needed the Space Marine one, so I had to go and buy that one. Because the one that's in the video is my original one from back then, because I started playing like 98, 99, so it was like when it was like, well, all of those codex was still pretty damn new, so... It was a whole thing, and they've held up surprisingly well for saying how much they've been used.
I bet your mother was thrilled, like, Mum, you know how the first army you bought me with the codex wasn't, like, very good, and now the second army you bought me with the book is like, okay, I need one more book.
It's fine. It was spread out over multiple birthdays and
Okay.
and slow trips to Games Workshop with my pocket money in hand.
Aww.
Because, you know, back when you could buy, like, metal models for, like, £3.
Tell me about it. Oh,
Yeah, but they looked like metal models you could buy for £3.
Okay, yeah, true.
That's
true.
the only problem, because nowadays the models are gorgeous.
Apart from Ragnar Blackmane.
We don't talk about Ragnar Blackmane.
I still
what is it?
can't believe he has not been updated.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's
just one of those things that, like, I kind of wonder how the updating process goes, because every now and again I feel that they kind of just like someone just like sits bolt upright in the middle of a meeting and just be like, we haven't updated this, how long has it been? And everyone's just like, oh shit, it's been fucking 25 years.
I can't help but feel that every time in a meeting they're talking about giving Ragnar Blackbane an updated model, that's when that happens. Someone jumps up and goes, "Oh shit, we haven't given this person a model." Okay.
We haven't given Marnius Kelgar a new model in the last 8 minutes.
Quick.
I mean, because I think we talked a little bit about this when we were last on the Podcasters, and someone in the comments said that they reckon the oldest model that GW still do are the Fantasy Familiars that are from the 80s.
Hang on, are those still available?
They were the last time I checked.
I don't know anything about those at all, even though I wrote all the lore for it.
The tiny malformed naked lady is one of the Familiars.
That
does not narrow it down.
That would be incroyable. Like, I honestly, I did not know that they were still doing that. I know the exact ones you're talking about. If they are, that would be insane.
Yeah, they were.
I kind of hope they are.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the last time I looked, they were still there. So, but obviously, GW is a mysterious entity that likes to retire things without really saying much about it, especially paints when you want them. But yeah, anyway. Go watch our new video. It took time. It was fun. And we will have a very interesting one next. Because the next script is actually already
based
written.
on a very interesting codex that we reveal at the end of that.
That is not what we're doing now.
That's what we're doing.
We're not doing that thing that I'm not going to spoil, the very funny joke in the video.
Yeah, look out for it. It's hilarious.
There is
so funny.
There is one guaranteed joke in the latest video. We can say that much.
Just... subscribe to our Patreon. We have guaranteed jokes.
We have at least one joke per video.
Presumably.
You don't get a guarantee like that anywhere else on YouTube.
I mean, you probably will, but it won't be as lackluster.
The only guarantee you get on that is to have your suggestions algorithmically filled up by a bunch of videos you never ever want to watch nor have any interest in watching.
Oh god, yeah.
I don't know. I'm very interested in that political YouTuber. They make me very happy to know they exist.
I was gonna say like Korean like boy bands, but okay.
I was going to say I'm very interested in knowing absolutely everything that's wrong about Pokemon Sword and Shield before it's even released. But
yeah.
Oh yeah, haven't you heard? It's terrible, even though no one has played it or anything.
And people can still manage to get 25-minute videos out of this. It's incredible.
25 minutes? You've been watching the truncated versions. Gold.
I do wonder how some people, like, they have the energy to, like, make, like, 45-minute videos talking about, like, a minute-long trailer. Like, I struggle to have more than, like 2 minutes worth to say on any given thing half the time. Like that.
About anything forever. And literally say nothing, so I understand how these videos can be made.
Okay, fair.
We must all be internet personalities.
Yeah, it's weird that, isn't
it? We have opinions, damn it, and people must listen to them.
In our 447-part, 18-hour length videos.
You can find it on our channel in the Please Validate Us playlist.
That's just every one of our playlists. This is getting too meta and real.
Okay.
Whip, what have you been doing?
See, what you guys have to do is hide yourself behind a carefully created persona that stymies you from ever being able to express your own opinion about anything.
That's a good idea.
I need a sock puppet, a literal sock puppet that just goes, "Wow, Snipe."
Okay.
Yeah, I believe this. Or whatever.
I'm not gonna lie here. If you guys decided to introduce some sort of Muppet-based third character to your videos, even if it's a sock puppet, I am. To be fair, I mean
that's kind of Drummer Matt.
No, I am 100% about that. You kind of need to do this now because now that the idea is out there, if it doesn't get acted upon, I'll be annoyed.
You know what it'll be? It'll be like Poochie from The Simpsons.
Oh my god.
We'll introduce, it's like, oh, it's Snipe, and Wib, and Jeff.
Yeah, and
or Bill.
And then at some point you're just going to have to flash up a single screen that just says, Jeff's ship's Gellerfield failed on the way back to his home planet.
He was torn to pieces by warp demons. and then everyone will be happy.
Well, there's your April Fool's Day 2020 video idea.
Yes.
No need to thank me.
As we have our puppet son.
Yes, our puppet son.
Anyway, I'm going to get on with something vaguely resembling a structure of podcast.
Sure, if you wanna.
To talk a little bit about what I've been up to. Now, a lot of it has been making the
Muppet that we're gonna have.
the latest video. Yeah. And writing the next 2 Codex compliance are weirdly close to finished writing-wise. Like, the next ones, I've just got, like, one last little thing to check.
Yeah, I need to go through and add jokes.
That is one of your jobs.
That's my job.
It is one of your jobs. And the one after that is, like, 80% written as well. I have no idea how this has happened, but I think because this one took so long to do for various reasons, it meant that whenever I had extra time, I started writing bits.
Yeah, keep up with your humble bragging.
So it kind of has mounted up, and it's like, oh, now I've got to do all the parts that actually take time. The actual editing and scanning in 1,000,000 pages.
You love scanning, what are you talking about?
I do not. But apart from that, I've done a few little things. Played a couple of video games.
Oh, yeah?
I have been toying around with Divekick, which came out many years ago, but I started playing with that a bit, which, if you're not familiar with it, is a fighting game where you have 2 moves, dive and kick. So the whole idea is it's just your character jumps in the air and then launches themselves at the ground, like with a downward kick, a dive kick. And whoever
that does make a lot of sense, actually.
And whoever's sort of highest when you hit each other wins.
Oh, because you're closer to your terminal velocity.
No. It's just an arbitrary thing of whoever is highest.
No, I just like the idea. If you jump up higher, then you've accelerated. You've had more chance to accelerate quicker when falling, so you hit harder.
Okay, the whole game's very tongue in cheek. So if you submitted that as like
as
a
headcanon,
as a tooltip, they'd probably put it in.
I might do that.
I don't know if they still update the game at all. They probably don't. It's many years old.
Well, they should, because my description of it is amazing and very funny.
But it's really weird because it's very tongue in cheek. Like, all the characters are kind of stupid, and like they just sit there and say things like, we'll say things like, "Oh, I really should be at home studying right now," instead of dive kicking. Like, there's 2 characters called Dive and Kick.
Oh, wow!
And like, I think it's Dive. He is actually like really good at school, and so he uses his advanced physics knowledge to know exactly how to dive kick people.
Great.
But the weird thing is, despite being this very tongue-in-cheek thing with all these kind of silly characters, it ends up being weirdly strategic because it is so stripped down to just who is able to strike the person at the right point. Mm-hmm. It's all about jumping at the right time, not leaving yourself open for that split second, because for your entire time of actually kicking, you're vulnerable, because if the other person jumps a fraction later than you and kicks, then they can hit you. So you have to try and maneuver yourself to like a safe position and try and kind of do the opponent, which even when playing against the AI can sometimes be a bit tricky, because each character has like a slightly different arc on their kick, and some of them will do slightly different things, like their damage areas are a little different. So it's interesting.
It's hella strategic.
Yes, it is the most strategic game I've ever played. Fuck 40k, like no strategy involved there.
Easy.
No,
you just dive kick your opponent in 40k and you win.
Chess for literal children. Drafts is okay, but no, it was like I say, strangely strategic once I got into it. I can definitely recommend it. You can generally pick it up pretty cheap. And if you want something just to dick around with for an hour.
Is it multiplayer? Can I play the dive kick with you?
Yeah. I actually want you to play it with me. I think it'll be really fun, because I've only had a chance to play against the AI so far. I think playing against another human would get a little fun. Okay. I believe.
It sounds like one of those games which is kind of like made for Twitch.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed, that. Not that that's a diss by any means. Like I've noticed in the past few years that there's been this kind of trend of like fairly simple games, but ones that are just like, this is fairly perfect to stream when you can have some personalities behind it, kind of talking over it. This sounds like exactly kind of right up that particular alley.
Yeah, I think the only problem with it in that regard is just that it's one of those things I think you would stop talking quite quickly as you're trying to outmaneuver each other.
Because it's so strategic.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, obviously, like, I am joking. We're not like, fucking Star Trek chess here or anything, but it is like, it's more strategic than you would expect. Okay. It is sort of the point. But apart from that, I've been playing the complete opposite end of the spectrum. I have been trying and mostly failing to get into Kerbal Space Program.
I've heard. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go on.
I was literally going to say that's one of those ones where it's kicked around for years as one of those indie darlings that I have just never gotten near because I lack the patience for it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same, and I've heard that it's really tricky. And I'm just like, nah, I'm just going to play something else, it's fine.
I haven't got very far in it. Like, I can make a basic rocket and make it do a fly.
Zoomies.
And, like, it's kind of interesting because it sets it up very, like, the start of it's kind of very basic. 'Cause it's just, you have a pod, you put a Kerbal in it, you put a parachute on that, and then you jam a rocket on it.
Is a Kerbal one of the little green dudes?
Yeah, they're Kerbals.
Okay.
And you fire it into space, and then it comes back to Earth, and you pop the parachute, and they're fine. Or at least you get into a kind of very high atmosphere sort of area. So it actually takes quite a bit to get into space itself.
Just like real life, honestly. Like you can, go and jump off a roof, but it's not going to serve you very well, as I am told.
Well, it won't get you into space, that's certain.
No.
Not sure where you were going with that.
Huh? Yeah, I wasn't either.
Okay.
I'm melting and my brain is misfiring, so, get ready for that.
Okay, it's going to be a riot when we get to your section, I can see.
It always is, dear.
But yeah, it's kind of interesting because quite early on, you get to the point where it's all about creating the segments of a rocket. So you know how rockets, they go up and they'll have different segments that detach as it's going into space, and another rocket takes over. So it ditches all the dead weight and then goes on to the next stage. Mm-hmm. You set all those up, and you set up effectively, you bind these things to be different phases. And so you hit space when you want to go to the next phase, and so you can combine things. So you can say, okay, so on this phase I want to hit this, and then I'll eject this motor and then boost up the next one. And it's quite satisfying when it's working, but every now and again you'll do something and you go, it's leaning to the left. Why is it leaning to the left? I don't know. And it turns out if you put too many things in, your rocket starts wiggling like a sausage, and that's quite funny. That
sounds awesome. The sausage into space.
But then it slams incredibly hard into the ground, and your Kerbal dies, and you're like, wow, that was a pity. I'm hoping by the time of the next podcast, I will actually vaguely understand the game. I feel it's one of those things that, when you play a game and it has a quite long-winded tutorial and you go, I think I can figure it out. I'm a smart boy. And then you play the game for 10 minutes and you go, I am not a smart boy. I have never felt more thick than right now. So I think I might just go back and play through that fairly extensive tutorial.
I think that's probably a good idea.
But yeah, it is fun, as most people probably know, because I know its heyday was a while ago. I'm quite late to the party here, but I am having fun with it, and I'll probably have more fun with it when I know what I'm doing. Apart from that, I've also been rewatching a lot of Star Trek TNG because that's just my life.
Yay.
How is that a problem?
It's not a problem.
TNG's great.
I'm currently at season 5 again because I've sort of been slowly chipping through it for the last year, just watching it here and there while I'm doing things. But I've I watched most of season 5 in the last week. And yeah,
powering through it.
Yeah, it turns out Star Trek: The Next Generation is still really good.
Weird.
Yeah, who'd have thunk it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which actually reminds me, it's the Picard trailer.
Oh
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm quite hyped.
I am also quite hyped. I am very, very excited for just any return to that particular character by that particular actor. I genuinely don't care about any naysayers, especially the naysayers that focus on design elements.
Yeah, it's almost as if when you make something decades later, then sometimes visual aspects change.
Yeah. And
blasphemy!
And, sometimes it's not 1989 anymore, and designs kind of need to be updated.
And my God, go back to early TNG. It's dated as all hell.
Yeah, you look at that and you go, "Oh, that is a late '80s set."
Well, I think
thoroughly.
that all you need to know about the era that the Galaxy class interior was designed in was that one of the ideas that Gene Roddenberry had was, they should have dolphins on board so that they can help them with navigation because dolphins understand moving in 3D space.
Which is wonderful and amazing, and also highlights the general issue that Star Trek has always had with the idea that space is a volume, not a plane. But they just kind of ignore that. Like how do borders work? It's just like, oh, Captain, we're nearing the Cardassian border. It's like, how exactly do you have a border when everything is in 3 dimensions?
Well, it's like when they'll do things, they'll say things like, oh yeah, there's, we've got to go through this fleet to get there, and you go, why though?
Why through?
You could travel a light year underneath them and just go under them. Like, I know the galaxy is like is a flat thing when you take it in like totality.
Yes.
But that's still very, very thick in real terms, and there's space beyond that too. Infinite space, one could say. So, but sci-fi.
It's one of those, sci-fi. Like, it's entirely one of those things. It's just like, we just have to jettison this because making it work is just way too difficult for a 45-minute episode.
Yeah, and basically every problem they have would be just undermined by, well, we can just go around it, can't we? Or made very boring by the fact that nothing makes sound because, space battles would just be really dull if there's no explosions.
Yeah,
you can't hear them anyway.
Drama. You can't have a silent photon torpedo.
Because then you wouldn't hear its cool sound effects.
Exactly.
But yeah, honestly, I complain about like the design and stuff. But yeah, TNG's aged quite well. Apart from some of the costume designs and things, especially from the early stuff. But it's still good, and yeah, it is really nice to see Picard come back, especially see Jerry Ryan come back as 7 of 9.
That is beyond anything one of the things that I'm most excited for about this, purely because I want to hear about how she ditched Chakotay's ass within like 2 weeks of being back in the Alpha Quadrant, being like, oh no. Not anymore.
No slights to the actor, but since he was it's Robert Beltran, isn't it? Since he was basically given nothing for like 7 seasons to work with, can you imagine like if you think that Chakotay is like your prime choice of like partner, and then you get to Earth and go, holy shit, there are so many people here. Most of them are more interesting than Chakotay.
That must have been a thing in the Voyager crew a lot. Like, so many of them must have just settled. It's not. Honestly, you're not the best. I don't think we work on a lot of levels here. Your taste in music is absolutely abhorrent, and you can't stand, how I cook. But we're stuck here, and we don't know if we're ever going to get home. So you know what? We'll make it work.
It's going to be a hell of an opening line, the stereotypical, anime leaning over someone in the hallway, like, hey, I'm literally the best of a bad bunch.
And yet still, they got back to the Alpha Quadrant, and Harry Kim was still single.
Oh.
Okay, I might get it. I don't know. You can cut this part out for if you need to. But I was having a discussion with my roommate yesterday about how Harry Kim is basically just an incel, and that he probably spends a lot of his time like posting really misogynistic stuff on fucking subspace chat rooms.
Oh god, 7 of 9 is a total bitch. He friend zoned me again.
Exactly. Like,
God, we have a female captain. It feels like forced diversity.
Fuck it, that's staying in. Fuck it.
Every single Harry Kim interaction with females is so painful and awkward that it's like, is this just deliberate? Like,
Yeah.
I really do love Voyager, and Janeway is tied for, like, my favorite captain, but my God, so many of that crew were so disserviced by bad writing. Like,
that's because they gave everyone's personality traits to Tom Paris.
Pretty much.
I hate Tom Paris.
Like
Exactly.
they could have taken everything that he had as hobbies or interests or other jobs he did and scattered them around the rest of the crew, and maybe there would have been a reason for Harry Kim to be in the show.
I mean, like, so...
The writers wanted to kill him off on multiple occasions because they didn't know what to do with him.
Can we acknowledge the fact that they did, but then his duplicate just took his spot and no one referenced that ever again?
Well, they didn't want to make it awkward, obviously. Otherwise, he'd write about them on his horrifying, like, female-hating blog.
Everyone's like, did anyone really know Harry that well? Like Tom, do you care that he's a duplicate? Nah, not really.
Could you imagine? They just asked, like, hey, Tom, do you want to say some words at Harry's funeral? Who?
He's like, I'm sorry, who? Like, you worked with him for like 7 years? Not ringing a bell.
Not hearing it.
No.
It's got the gold top. Like, he's at the back of the bridge.
Is he a Ferengi? No. Like, no, I don't.
Oh, he's the bloke with the pointy ears, isn't he? No, that's Tuvok. Oh, okay. Tattoo. That's your first officer. Yeah, I know, but he doesn't. He just comes in, and then the space, like, Native American music starts playing in the background when he says something like pseudo wise.
He says Akuchi Moya, and then suddenly panpipes start playing for no reason. Like, Chakotay is a perfect example of how American television cannot write, like, First Nations Native American characters. They can't. Yeah. They're so bad at it. And I still can't believe to this day that it was 7 seasons of painful ancestor spirit, like, weird panpipe shit that they never really took the opportunity to address in any way, shape, or form. Like, the good characters on Voyager are incredible. Like, Janeway and Seven and the Doctor are some of my favorite Trek characters ever, but the bad characters on Voyager just are painful.
Mm-hmm. And they just don't need to exist is, like, a lot of the problem with them.
Well, it's not that they don't need to exist. It's like it's like with everything with Voyager. The concept is there, but the actual execution just doesn't pay off. Like, how Voyager in general doesn't push its concept nearly as far as it could have.
The whole show should have been Year of Hell.
Exactly. And I know that they wanted it to, and I know that the network pushed back on it and all that jazz. But in the same way that the show never pulled off its actual stated aims, none of the characters ever do. Like, B'Elanna, here we have another, like, a human Klingon hybrid. That is a thing that we could explore. But no, we're just going to make her seem cranky and unlikable for 7 seasons. Here's Harry Kim. He's like the new guy. He's the ensign on his first mission, and we never really do anything except him look awkward and inexperienced and hopelessly naive for 7 seasons. Like, and then Chakotay, it's like, okay, here's a minority that we have not actually visibly put on Star Trek, and we're just going to get it wrong in every possible way.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Oculus's fucking Star Trek Voyager rant.
Hey, that's fair. I've spent hours of this podcast over the last few years ranting about Star Trek. So
tune in next week when I talk about how Hoshi Sato should never have existed.
But yeah, so yeah, Seven's back, and that's good because she was one of the good parts of Voyager.
There's a doggo.
Despite being... the dog's called Number One, by the way.
Oh my god, that's so cool. I want a dog.
I wonder how Will feels about that.
Well, we'll find out because Jonathan Frakes has been confirmed.
Wouldn't it be great? It's like,
awesome.
I thought I was your number one. Yes, but then you shaved the beard. So he just gives the rank to a dog.
That's
like
actually
a
totally
really
fair.
vindictive kind of like dig at him.
It is a very well-known and provable theory that next-gen era stuff, the quality of it can be defined by whether Riker has a beard or not.
Yeah.
Which is why in the less good movies, for the most part, there are some exceptions, and the less good series, he doesn't have a beard. But he always has beards for the better ones.
Don't like it when he doesn't have a beard. It's scary.
You know. Actually, sorry. On the notes of Riker's beard, can we talk about the Thomas Riker episode of Deep Space Nine where he shows up, and then to reveal that he is Thomas Riker, not William Riker, he very carefully peels off the side parts of his mustache that connect the mustache to the goatee.
That was literally a fucking visual gag in Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
I know.
Nicolas Cage's character. He just made his mustache a little longer. It's like, no one will recognize me now. Fucking hell.
And I like the idea that because, like, would anyone have noticed, you know, like, if he'd have got in with his regular beard, they'd just go, oh, it's Will Riker. I know he has a beard. It's like, if you wear a beard...
A nice touch would have been like he had different colour eyes or something, because then it's there
Well,
for
no,
all
it
to
can't,
see.
it can't be, because he is literally Riker. He's the result of a teleporter incident.
Oh, yeah, no, I remember hearing about that. I haven't seen that one.
He's a literal duplicate of him, but he spent, like, so many years stuck
So
on a planet.
why didn't he replace Harry Kim?
Because the universe hates Harry Kim so much they can't even give him a noble death.
I love the idea that Harry Kim dies and he's replaced by Thomas Riker, but no one ever comments on it ever.
Yeah, and they're just like they still call him Harry and everything.
And they're like, Harry.
But suddenly he's getting like mad tail. And like everyone likes him now.
And he plays a less embarrassing instrument.
If that happened, guaranteed Thomas Riker would have gone for Kes and not cared about the whole fact that her entire concept is creepy as hell. And it would have pissed off Neelix, which is great because that would have, it would have actually been terrible because that would have given the writers more chance to explore Neelix's incredibly creepy obsession with a literal 9-year-old.
Yeah. It was very kind of like,
oh, yeah, I might look like a 12-year-old girl, but I'm actually a 3,000-year-old demigod, so...
Yeah,
it's that kind of creepy anime
it's
trope.
Like it's the inverse version of that. It's like, yes, I look like I am a fully grown woman, but I'm like
actually
a toddler in your world.
It's like,
no, it's not anything. I was just born sexy. Giggle, giggle. Like,
oh god, yeah.
Again, right back to the idea of concepts that may have seemed like a good idea, but were just not.
Definitely were not.
Not great. Not great. I get the feeling that Kes was supposed to be Voyager's Dax. Just like, here's a new concept for Trek where we introduce an alien species that operates in a completely different way that we do. They're really young and they have very short lifespans. We haven't done that. But then they decided to be like, okay, but let's also make her a object of fucking desire for the weird cat monkey that is now the ship's cook.
I never thought of him as a cat monkey, I love it.
Neelix is a cat monkey.
That's possibly the nicest description anyone has ever given to Neelix.
I always thought he looked like one of those fancy tropical fish that just like fell in like a bag of like salon hair.
He's basically what would happen if you put a tropical fish and Jeff Goldblum in a teleporter. He's a brundlefish.
He's a brundlefish.
The thing about
his voice pattern would be way better.
Actually, the thing is, I don't hate Neelix. I think
he did have a few decent episodes.
He had a few decent episodes.
The ones where he deals with his backstory and stuff, like the trauma from like his, the wars and stuff that he was, that his homeworld was embroiled in. Those actually were pretty decent. 'Cause it's not like Ethan Phillips, isn't the actor's name?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
I think it's not like he's a bad actor or anything. It's just, again, as with Voyager,
what he was given.
It was what he was given.
Yeah.
Neelix to me was actually a very necessary inclusion for, like, not necessarily as a comedy relief character, but it's nice to have an optimist on board when everyone else is just like, I'm so far from home. It's nice to have that, and I think it wasn't exactly unsuccessful, but he obviously improved once they just removed the obsession with Cass from the equation entirely.
I also liked in Voyager how they went through Borg space in like a relatively short amount of time, but then spent like multiple seasons going through the fucking Kazon Empire. These fucking idiots who barely know what they're doing, but apparently have an empire to rival the Borg in terms of size.
Yeah.
I don't think they really thought because sometimes they'll cross an entire empire in an episode, but they were stuck with the Kazon until, wasn't it like the end of season 2 that they finally got out of Kazon space or something?
It was. This is the thing. I found it with almost every single Trek spin-off. The first 2 seasons are just awkward and rough. And then they realize, okay, this is what we actually need to do with the show. Like, Next Generation's first 2 seasons were not great. Deep Space Nine's first 2 seasons were not great. And Voyager's first 2 seasons were not great. Like, with Next Generation, they figured, like, okay, here's how we're going to do Star Trek, like, 20 years after it is. Also, after it first came out. Also, we can get rid of Pulaski now, thank God. Deep Space Nine was like, okay, cool, we'll give them a starship and a proper antagonist. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And Voyager was like, okay, cool, the Kazon didn't work. We admit that. Borg. Everyone loves Borg. Give them the Borg. They're in Borg space. That is canon. We can use that. And they did. And they did it really damn well. So, like, it takes time for those shows to find their feet. Which is why, if anyone listening has not actually ever watched a Star Trek, Daystrom Institute on Reddit has excellent watch guides for all of them that jettison all of the chaff that you can still watch if you feel like it. But if you want to get the pure stuff and the actual good season arcs and stuff, just hit that up.
Just, don't watch Code of Honor in TNG and you're generally fine. Let's go to Planet Africa. Maybe let's not. But yeah, we should probably not be talking about Voyager for 20 minutes.
It's so easy, though.
It is.
I
just want to talk about, like, Jadzia all day.
Jadzia is cool.
Because Dax is my favourite.
I do like... DS9 is my favourite series.
So. Oh, you're like, we should stop talking about that.
You engaged me.
Hey!
You engaged me. This is your fault.
Yeah, fair enough. That's my fault.
I blame you. But yes, Picard series looks really good. So I've heard people saying that the Borg looks like a Borg being disassembled on a table you see for a split second is Hugh.
I've heard that too, and I think I read something about the fact that the actor's been cast in that particular role. So, yay, Hugh.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
I'm super looking forward to it. It's only going to be like 10 episodes long, I think, so I'm interested to see what they do with it. Because it's just going to be really interesting to see a post-Nemesis like world.
Yes.
Just to see the mainline continuity again, you know?
It's a thing that we've wanted for so long. Like, we just want to see what the Federation looks like after Nemesis, after the destruction of Romulus, all of that other stuff. Like, we do want to see the future. As opposed to that one fucking flash forward in Enterprise where it's like, oh, it's the Enterprise J, and that's all we get.
I was literally streaming with Longfang last night, and we had a "we don't talk about the Enterprise J" moment.
No, because that design is absolutely hideous.
It was cobbled together in like literally hours because they were told like, oh yeah, by the way, we're filming in like 3 days. Design the Enterprise J for us, and we need to have it on like a thing on the screen on the side. You can tell how cheap that scene is because it's set hundreds of years in the future, but they didn't have the time to make new ships, so the ships flying around outside are like a Defiant, a Nova class. Like, they're just regular ships that by that point would be like 400 years old.
Yeah.
Well, they're just being really hipstery, and they're like, it's just the chassis of like an old.
I mean,
one.
it's not like there's not any precedent for that, considering how long Starfleet kept the Excelsior class running.
And Miranda's.
Yeah. Like, those are some old school ships that really have no business serving for 120 years as ships of the line. Like, come on.
Although, admittedly, then we go to the other sci-fi that we talk about a lot on this podcast, 40K, where the ship is literally over 10,000 years old.
Yeah, we don't really have 40K fans. 40K fans cannot throw stones at Star Trek for having long-serving ships in service when it's just like, oh well, this thing is literally millennia old and is older than the empire it now serves in. So
like, we literally do not know who built this. It's just always been here. And we only know
it
how
was
about...
like that when we got here.
We sort of understand about 60% of the tech on board this thing.
You gotta shove dolphins in there and they'll help you out with navigation. Because dolphins understand space. Dolphins are warp creatures is what I'm saying.
Yes,
dolphins understand spice.
They love space.
Because the ocean is exactly the same as space.
It is. Well, it's got probably way more fucking horrors in it than actual space does.
Yeah,
the ocean is fucking terrifying. We should just, like, remove it. I'm sick of it.
We'll go to the 41st millennium, and it's just gone.
Where all the seas are boiled.
We boiled it away, which is a thing that can happen.
Well, honestly, that's probably, like, what's going to save humanity, because, like, the ocean will rise up against us any day now.
They're called tides, dear.
No, I've seen it. It's threatening me. You stand on a beach and it starts going for you. It can't help it. It's just vicious.
I'm going to move on. Okay?
Yeah, that's probably for the best,
Okay.
actually. I've gone a bit troppo over here.
Putting Star Trek to one side because Picard looks really interesting. Can't wait to see it. One last thing. So, I may have bought a new army.
Oh god, you're so bad with money. I would never.
After the last podcast where someone asked, like, oh, what armies would you, like, what other armies would you like to, like, collect? And I was like, because I've been kind of thinking about it anyway, I kind of like to collect, like, a Wraith Guard-based Eldar army.
Armies.
Yes.
And maybe paint them in, like, kind of a themed thing, so maybe they're, like, statues or something. Like, maybe, like, an Exodite force, and, like, they're just, like, the statues around the settlement. And then when they're needed for defense, they get activated, and so I thought that might be a fun way to have, like,
You have 20 seconds to comply.
that might be a fun kind of way to do theme one, and so the only, like, normal Eldar will just be, like, Spirit Seers and things.
You've got, like, one.
Yeah, one normal
guy.
who will just be painted normally, because they're just regular...
Are you going to call him Eldar Jim?
I will not, no.
Then you're fucking up.
It'll be J''im.
I was just
Jim,
going to make
yes.
that joke.
Yes.
It'll be J''im.
Jim, yeah, no, I like that. That's really cool.
J''aims if you're nasty.
Aims if you ask.
But then and I was like, oh, that'd be fun. And then I was like looking at like how much that would actually cost to buy, and then it turned out the Apocalypse boxes were literally the army that I wanted to build. But at half price, and then getting them through a reseller, I could get them even less than that.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
And I'm like, well, I
That's
kind of
how they get you.
And I was like, well, I kind of wanted to build that next year, but those boxes won't be around next year, so I either buy it now or I buy it in a year's time and
For, like,
spend twice as much.
Yeah.
So,
You're literally an idiot for not buying it.
fuck it, I guess I'm buying it. Does completely screw my ratio for, like, bought to painted this year, but since I'm painting them in a theme and I'm just literally doing Duncan's guide on doing a statue army for it, like...
That guide is extraordinarily good, and I'm disappointed that I painted my 2 Stormcast Shadespire warbands not using that one, because it's actually better, and I might have to go back and change the color scheme.
Yeah, it's a good looking thing, and I'm interested to see how it looks on the Wraith Guard. It should look cool.
It's just a lot of dry brushing and washes.
Yeah, it's just dry brushes and washes.
Which I know I've like basically oversimplified. That's just hobby painting, apparently.
No, that is literally it.
No,
But
it
yeah,
is.
no.
It absolutely
Yeah.
is. I will say though, Wib, if you want to like really give those things a bit of some oomph, is find some way of getting like not necessarily static grass, but something that could look like moss.
I was thinking about that actually.
I know that there's like there's directions to wash some Coelia green shade into the recesses, which helps. But if you actually want to just elevate it from these look like stone to these must actually be stone, it is just getting moss and leaves and stuff and kind of stuffing them into the cracks and just it makes them pop so well.
What I was thinking of doing was doing them like to the guide, and then I was going to like get some extra bits and pieces, like an old model or something, and paint it in the same style, but then experiment with like gluing flock to it in different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
And seeing if that would work. Because in theory that should work, but I might have to like go out and get some very specifically coloured flock.
I think you probably would, because that's so obviously like grass. Like
So
flock,
like
so
darker stuff would probably
like
work better.
a richer kind of green.
I might actually. I think because ages ago, Drummer Matt bought like a job lot of stuff off eBay, and it just came with a box full of like woodland scenic stuff that the guy just included. Was like, oh, by the way, I've given you this as well for free.
I love it when that happens.
And Matt was like, I don't know what to do with it. Hey, do you want it? And I think we've still got the darker flock, so I'll have to have a look and see if that would be suitable. But yeah, so that's my next project. But the thing is, because it is all dry brushing and washing and isn't all edge highlighting and absurd freehand, it should actually be quite quick to paint. So in theory, I should be able to get the entire force, which is like 850-ish points, depending on how I load them out. Whilst I've got like a bunch of magnetization to do for the Wraith Knights.
Oh yeah, you
Wraith
bought
Knights, Wraith
some
Lords.
really tiny magnets today, and they were super tiny, like Oculus. Like, do you know
baby
those
magnets?
Yeah, like, do you know those kind of like you get the A4 like reinforced envelopes that you always get like your qualifications in, and it's just got "Do not bend" on it. There was like a tiny version of that. It was minuscule. It was like, I don't know, like A8 or something. It was so tiny.
It wasn't quite that small.
It was tiny and it was so cute. And then like it just came out with like the tiny little magnets, and I just lost my fucking mind.
They're 2 millimeters by 0.5 millimeter.
They're so
They're
tiny.
the smallest ones I could find.
That is adorable.
They're little babies. They're adorable.
So yeah, I've got that fun of doing all the magnetization for those.
I'm probably gonna need a few magnets.
Good job, I've got an excess of other sized ones.
Thank you.
But yes, hopefully I should be able to paint them pretty quick, because like the theory is that once I've got them all assembled, which will take a little while, because I mean there's like 15 Wraith Guard, then 2 Wraith Lords.
You've already got like 5.
Yeah, I've assembled 5 of them so far. But it does take a little while to assemble those
with
things.
With that horrifying glue accident you had.
Oh, yeah, I may have glued them together during one of the obscenely hot nights, and the glue was starting to go weird, and some of it just fell out of the tube, and I didn't notice, and got all over the shoulder pads of one of them. But I was able to scrape most of it off, because despite being super glue, it took hours to harden.
It's
so it was
so
a
fucking
mush.
hot, though. Yeah.
It was really weird.
I hate super glue so much.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much.
It's the worst thing in the world.
I hate super glue, but I hate plastic glue more.
Yeah, I'm the same.
So
I would fully love plastic glue. I'll take that.
Well, you can have ours then, because
thank you.
oh my god, I hate it so much.
I think
hate super glue slightly less.
I think it's because I'm used to fixing things with super glue and know how to do it, whereas when you mess up with plastic glue, it like literally melts the parts of the model you're working on. So
no, Oculus is just basically humble bragging about being like a pro.
He's pro at gluing.
He's pro at gluing. So he's just mocking us like really subtly.
Listen, you've got to put the hours in if you want to get any sort of results. It's just gotta happen.
It's like, look, if you don't want to commit and be good at stuff, that's like your issue.
It's fucking casuals.
Casual glue use. Get on your level, man.
I bet you still use PVA, you dirty. I'm trying to think like.
Why don't you just go back and use a Pritt stick if you're going to be a scrub?
Ooh, it's heating up in the glue fandom.
The glue discourse is quite toxic, I will warn you.
Okay, anyone commenting and getting into arguments about glue in the comments will be banned. We're not tolerating it.
I adore the idea of just throwing up a video on YouTube, just like, anyone who uses Army Painter plastic glue is a fucking cuck.
I think Hercus Dragonblade will be doing that.
Calm down. Yes, Hercus Dragonblade.
Yeah, he'll be doing that next.
I'm looking
that
forward.
very real YouTuber.
That exists and is better than all of us.
The very real hobby/lore personality that is Hercules Dragonblade.
Yeah, we need to ask him to do a video on like all of the basic bitch glues and why they all suck.
Yes.
And why you need to use like a special glue, and if you don't, then like you should literally have your army taken away and melted down in front of your eyes, and then then they force feed it to your family.
If you don't
members.
use vintage Games Workshop glue from around 4th edition,
There's
then you're just
literally
not
like
using real
talcum
glue.
powder right now.
But anyway, that's me done. Anyway, I bought Eldar, and
talk about the basic glue, like the filthy glue casuals. It's like, like super glue is like that's just skipping so many steps, and you need to earn the discipline.
Oculus, please tell us what you've been doing with yourself. Save us from this.
He's been working on a really big
eternal
script
hell.
about glue.
Oh yeah, I've been talking about how the Imperial. My next lore video will be about how the Forge World of Lucius produces the best glue in the Imperium.
Yeah, and if you don't use it, then you're a heretic.
It
holds the whole empire together.
Yeah.
It's actually rendered down from a combination of like Grok's innards and captured heretics.
Perfect.
This is canon. What have I been doing? Yeah, I just I recently visited my ancestral homeland of Ireland, which was fun, and ate pretty much nothing but scones and fish and chips, because those are the things that I can't get over here as well as I can get back there. So that was great. And I also got engaged there, which was fun.
Yay,
so,
congratulations!
Yes, congratulations again.
Yes,
that is good news.
Yeah.
It is good news. I am an engaged mon now, which is fun. But what have I been doing in terms of like hobby stuff. I don't know if anyone who follows me on Twitter, you can get at me at @buttstuffkaiju, plug. But if you're there, you can see.
Careful how you say that.
If you're there, you would have seen a while ago that I picked up a massive secondhand Adeptus Titanicus lot. Now, it's not even like necessarily secondhand. 2 warlords and 3 knights got put together, and then the rest of it is all still new in box and new on sprue. I got it for absolutely nothing compared to what I would have had to pay if I wanted a second Titan maniple.
Yeah,
so now,
spoiler alert, Oculus stole it.
Yeah. it's the
it was quite literally a steal.
It was quite literally a steal from some back alley near Dundas and Spadina.
Yeah, some guy just opens his coat and about falls over and is like, mate, do you want to buy some...
You're right.
What, some warlords? Can you push in some warhounds?
What are you buying, stranger?
You're right, mate. You want the warlord upgrade sprue?
First one's free.
First one's free. You want the Ariok power claw? No, I paid for it legitimately off a Facebook marketplace interaction. But it's great. I made my first Titan maniple at some point last year. Still have not played the game, but now I bought a second Titan maniple to make in order so that I can actually find someone to play the game with me, because specialist games like Adeptus Titanicus can be a little bit of a buy-in, and they can have a very small player base. So I have, in my infinite wisdom, decided to create my own player base. I'm painting it up. I've decided to opt for a very simple-ish paint scheme since the last Titan maniple took a fucking age. Because if you haven't seen Adeptus Titanicus minis, they're fucking gorgeous and insanely detailed. So they take some time.
I have a warlord. I haven't finished building it yet because of many other things, but like... Yeah, they're beautiful looking models.
They're
like the level of detail is great.
So gorgeous. And Titans are one of my favorite aspects about the 40k universe. And the idea that I can have a small model count game that plays almost like a spaceships fighting game is just wonderful. It's going to be a very simple color scheme. I'm basically just undercoating everything in a lead Belcher spray and then throwing the new Talisar blue contrast paint over it, so I get a nice metallic blue. And then it's going to be like really, really bright silver highlights around all of the piping. And then some little detail work. It should not hopefully take me as long as the first maniple did, because ya boy wants to start actually playing that game once summer is over.
It is really fun. I've played one game of it, and I genuinely enjoyed it. Warhounds were particularly fun, because you're just like trying to outflank each other like constantly with them. They're really fun.
I'm probably going to shoot for that... I think it's the Regia maniple, which is just 2 warlords and 2 warhounds, because that is the only thing that I could ever possibly want out of a Titan maniple.
I get you.
No disrespect to Reavers, but warlords rule everything, and they're the best. As far as the other hobby stuff goes, I finished off my Chaos Dwarf army a short while back because I'm an insufferable hipster and I must play a dead faction made entirely out of resin.
You're talking to a person that has literally been like using my Blood Angels with a ton of Rogue Trader models in them.
Literally, I wiped out a squad last time we played that was literally all Rogue Trader models.
Oh yeah, my Stern Guard is entirely Rogue Trader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And the Chaos Dwarf army are now fully magnetized on their bases so that they stick to things, because I can't afford all the foam that I would need for all those very large war machines that they have. And again, that's something I'm hoping to play around about fall, because I also want to cut my teeth on Age of Sigmar pretty soon, because that game seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, what else have we done beyond that? We talked about Star Trek. I'm actually doing a Deep Space Nine rewatch right now.
Nice.
For the first time in like a decade. And I had actually forgotten how amazingly consistent that show is in terms of like just overall plot, character development, all that jazz. I'm not the biggest fan of Sisko as a captain. I think he's decent, but he definitely ranks below the others as far as just general captaincy goes.
I can understand that.
But he likes the baseball.
He does like the baseball.
He does like the baseball. That is.
How do you feel? Because I feel that DS9 is probably it's my favourite series of Star Trek. But how do you feel about the Mirror Universe episodes? Because personally, I feel like they are an ungodly stain on a really good series because they're basically all bad.
This is the thing. I've been ignoring all of them for the rewatch. I'm just skipping them. Like they don't impact anything much.
I literally did the same.
Like they're just for fun. The Mirror Universe in general is just kind of a fun concept. So it's just goofy episodes that let the actors kind of ham it up. So, I appreciate it for that. Like if I ever want to go back and watch Deep Space Nine characters just absolutely chewing through the scenery,
oh yeah,
I will watch the Mirror Universe episodes. But right now I'm just kind of skipping them.
Yeah, because I watched through like the whole thing like probably year and a half, 2 years ago now,
something like that.
And watched through the whole run of DS9 again, and then like about 6 months ago, I just kind of like slowly was chipping through it again, just in the background whilst I'd be painting or whatever, just have it on in the background and just skipping any episodes I didn't like. So skipping through awful things like was it Prophet and Lace and things like that. But the Mirror Universe ones were the absolute ones. I was like, I don't feel like I want to watch those again because I think they'd annoy me twice as much the second time round. Mm-hmm. And it's I just find them a pity because especially when they happen like in the middle of a series where there's all heavy continuity going on and you're like, I want to know what's happening. I don't want to go to the Mirror Universe. I want to know what's happening in the actual plot where things matter.
Yeah, and actually do matter more than almost any other Trek in terms of like an overall meta plot. God, DS9's is good. So watching that. What else? What else have I been doing? Oh, I cannot sing the praises more highly for House of X by Jonathan Hickman. It's, if any of you are like reading comic booky fans, Marvel are relaunching their X-Men titles, like huge, sweeping, line-wide rejig of the whole thing. I know.
Why did you have to tell me that? I've been out of this for years.
Well, guess what? You're about to go back in because, like, the X-Men, like, they've been languishing for years. And though Marvel consistently deny it, everyone knows it's because they hadn't up until this year had the movie rights to them, so they couldn't really get as much money out of it as they could by putting out another half dozen Avengers comics, because that name sells like crazy now. But now they do, and they have gotten probably my favorite comic book author ever to just mastermind a full massive paradigm change for what the X-Men are and what they do. And the first issue, House of X, dropped this week. I finally got the chance to read it yesterday, and it is almost everything I could want. He's doing a little dual series, House of X and Powers of X, that are going to be basically one book spread over two. Yeah, it's going to run between now and October. And I'm so excited. I really am.
Yeah, no, I think I'm going to have to just buckle and get that run. Because honestly, like, I stopped reading after, this shows you how long I've been out, where they all, like, the X-Men all moved to San Francisco and had, like, a little island that Magneto had just slurped up from the ocean or whatever. Mm-hmm,
that was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
That was when
I got really...
Matt Fraction was writing a lot, wasn't it?
I'm not a fan of, like, Matt Fraction stuff. I mean, like, it wasn't terrible, but I mean, like... and, like, the thing is, like, they kept putting Matt Fraction in with Greg Land.
Oh, yeah. I know, I hate Greg Land.
Oh, he's horrible. And, like, it literally ruined... Like, even if there were good moments, it ruined it with Porn Star Face. And I just got so fed up with it.
If you're not aware, people at home, Greg Land is a comic artist who traces most of the stuff he does, and quite often traces it from porn.
No, majority of the time he traces porn, but he will also rip off other comic book artists, which is like, wow.
Which is why, whenever you see women, like a female hero in pain, they all look like they're coming, because they are.
Yeah.
It's pretty much. It's not great. It's not great. But, I mean, I will say for their San Francisco tenure, they did at one point get taken over by Kieran Gillen, very short-lived run on Uncanny X-Men that was just excellent. And I'll tell you why it's excellent, because Kieran Gillen writes a really, really good Emma Frost. And definitely. I have this certainty that Emma Frost can only really be written by a British person, or someone who has a lot of experience with fairly acidic types of British humor. Because anytime she is, like with Kieran Gillen or Cy Spurrier or even Joss Whedon, like
I think, that's my
she
favorite.
she is as arch and acidic as she needs to be, but with stuff like with Bendis's run on X-Men, which I enjoyed overall, Emma never sounded like Emma. She just never had the Emma voice that I really want from her.
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle with her like vocal tics as well. So they'll throw in a love or something here, and it's just like, that sounds really weird.
Yeah,
to someone who's like British.
She just has to be a bitch.
Yeah, she's got to be a nasty piece of work. She's a shady bitch.
She is, and she has to, and it has to reflect that. That doesn't mean that she doesn't do good things. It just means she can still be a total bitch while doing it.
Exactly.
And that's why we love her.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I love, I love the Joss Whedon, John Cassidy run. They, years and years ago now. I can't remember the name of it, but, like...
Astonishing X-Men.
Yeah. And
still fully recommended.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
That was the first, because I'd read comic books before, but that was like the first long run of comics I read, and it sort of ruined things a little bit for me.
Because it was drawn
because I really like the art, and I thought that though I there are criticisms of Joss Whedon's writing style,
yeah, definitely,
and of Joss Whedon, but I think his sort of voice really suited that particular run. Also, it made Cyclops into an interesting character, which rarely happens because he just shoots people.
He wasn't shooting people. He was, quote, just trying to make a point. But no, I thought that was great.
I'll say as well, like, you don't need to have been up on X-Men continuity at all to enjoy this. Like, I mean, they're very much intending it to be like
a reboot,
like an Astonishing X-Men moment, or like a Grant Morrison new X-Men moment, where it's like, just jump in here and run with it. I know that I'm sounding like I'm pimping it a whole lot, but like the X-Men are some of my favorite comic book things ever.
Oh, dude, I absolutely fucking adore X-Men.
When they are written well, they are so good. They are so necessary, and right now especially, they're just so timely. And I need them to be good, and I'm so excited for them to be good again. So yeah, and I mean that's pretty much where I'm at with all the stuff that I'm doing with my life right now. I'm going to see the new Tarantino later on today, so that should be fun. Oh yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
I wasn't even aware of where he had one out. That shows how on the pulse I am.
Yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. So it's a Tarantino movie about Hollywood, which should make it pretty interesting.
Oh god, okay.
It'll be an hour and a half of solid masturbation.
Phenomenal.
It'll be a history of Hollywood, but only pointed at the feet.
Oh god. Anyway.
So Snipe.
Yes.
What have you been up to then?
So many things. Okay. I've just forgotten them all immediately.
Oh, well, they're written on a notepad file that's on screen right now.
Oh, shit, yeah, no, that...
So you can use your eyeballs, just rotate them over to it.
I can't.
And read the letters and can make them into words.
I can't do that.
Is it too much?
It's too much.
It's too much. Well, I believe in you. I know you can get through this.
No, you're cranky with me and you're saying that, so I do it.
I mean, does it really matter which is true?
No, that's fair. I mean, I did watch something new and I can't remember what it was, but it's fine. I got Dishonored 2 today.
Whoop.
Yeah, because I tried to play the first one and it just made me angry, and I wasn't very good at it, which made me angry. So
it was a bit janky.
It was a bit jank. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But it's basically like just starting up Dishonored 2 basically just fills me in everything. And I fucking knew that, like, mild spoilers, but not really. I just fucking knew that Corvo was, like, Emily's dad. Like, the literally start of the first game, I was like, that's his kid. And then it's like, there must have been a big, like, Corvo, did you know that while you were fucking the Empress, she just had a baby? And he's like, oh. Or so,
you mean when we did loads of fucking and then she disappeared for 9 months? Wow.
And then came back with a baby who looked fucking exactly like me.
Had the mask and everything.
Yeah. You're like, where did you get that? Oh, she came out like that.
Just pulled a knife on you, like, oh, Jesus.
Pulled a knife on the nurse or something. It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, so it kind of just explains, like, it kind of gives you a synopsis of the first game so that you know where you are, and I'm like, thank you, because the old game is a bit tricky for me to get into because of aforementioned jank. But no, it's like, I was quite surprised it gives you the choice to play as Corvo or Emily. I was like, ooh, this is cool. So of course I chose Emily, because like, as daddy as Corvo is, because he's literally a daddy.
Yes.
Like, I want to play as the girl. It's just so cool, and it's like, I do like her, and I think like there's a part that kicks off all of the what's the word that kicks off the plot that's quite like, oh no, okay, all right, I am motivated. You've got me.
The inciting incident, I believe it's officially called.
I can't remember. I did film studies for like 2 years, but I can't fucking remember.
I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, which basically means I'm more educated than anyone else.
You're more educated than me, who literally studied for... Yeah, okay, you got me. You fucking got me. But
we have to get to the town before the inciting incident festival starts.
Whatever you say, Mr. MacGuffin. But yeah. And it's honestly, it really gives me pangs of like Thief.
Oh, huge.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I don't mind that. I mean, I used to play that as a little girl, and I sucked at it because I was a child. But like, and I remember once I was trying to sneak up on this one guy, and he was standing in front of a metal floor, and I kept going, and then alerting him and dying, and I got so mad I put it down and never played it again. Because I couldn't possibly figure out how to get around this metal floor. Because I was such an idiot child. Yeah, I'm like, it's like I'm just literally walking along, smashing two like frying pans together.
Why is everyone noticing me?
You see, I was thinking like hiding in plain sight. I took it a bit too literally. Of like, if I'm literally running around screaming, then I couldn't possibly be a murderer.
It's why, if you want to get into, say, like the Houses of Parliament, you should just wear like a Shrek
Wear
mask.
a really bad wig, and just you'll be Prime Minister.
The Shrek mask also applies there.
Yeah.
But I was thinking by
cool.
the method of be so weird that everyone just assumes that they're hallucinating.
Yeah.
And go, oh, well, that's obviously a figment of my imagination. I've done too much cocaine in the bathrooms of the Houses of Parliament.
That's too much cocaine of what I've done there. Oof. Silly me. Because that's a frequent occurrence.
Hit up Govey Boy, he'll tell you how to get it.
But yeah, I like it. The characters are cool. It's been quite easy. It's been going easy on me because it's the start of the game. The Corvo's voice is, it's, you know, that kind of American hard guy voice in video games where it's like, yeah, so I went into this place and I killed like 40, you know, that really gravelly, deep voice.
Yeah.
Yes, I call that voice the John Stone.
Yes, John Stone.
Or the Simon Fist, or like some just
like Simon Fist, who literally he literally comes in and he's like down on the floor, and then he punches someone and he goes, I didn't say Simon Says.
My name is Johnny Punch.
My name is Johnny Punch, and I work at Thundercock Industries.
On behalf of the CIA.
My name is Clint Roundhouse.
I thought you were going to say, my name is David Cunnilingus.
My name is Tex Manley.
I like that one way better. So yeah.
You get so far and they do just become porn names.
Yeah, but that's
pretty
kind of
much.
like the joy of it. But yeah, so it's like, it's not a deal breaker. I just thought it was like a funny point of note. It's like Corvo's like, that's my girl. And it's like, oh.
You see, I have two problems with Dishonored. One is that they spell Dishonored wrong.
Yes.
And two is that I'm really bad at it because I'm not very good at stealth games anyway, and I'm especially bad at first-person stealth games.
First-person stealth games are a whole extra difficulty level. But
it really annoys me because I love the general look of everything.
The aesthetic and the setting is amazing.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Yeah, it's just so cool looking, and I'm like, I want to be good at that. It's like a AAA version of any given Devolver game. I want to be good at it, but I'm just not.
Yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, I've been enjoying like the setting and the characters and like the gameplay as well. She says, apparently surprised. But no, it's like my biggest problem that I encountered was because you have your pistol in your left hand and you have your sword in your right. It's like it's left mouse for your right-handed weapon, and then like right click for your pistol that's in your left hand. See, when I first picked up the crossbow, I thought that because I changed the controls, which honestly was really easy to do, because a lot of games, like if you try and change from WASD to the arrow keys for like a lefty setup, it just freaks out and dies. So I was like, it was quite well, quite good to get swapped over. So I was like, okay, that's fine. That was relatively simple. There's not a super amount of buttons. And then when I got the crossbow, she brought it up in the left hand, and I was like, has it detected arrow keys and just assigned it to my left-hand side thinking that that's what I wanted to do? No, it's just you always keep your firearm in your left hand.
Like, it makes sense to be that way around because your firearm's like your off weapon and your knife's your main weapon, but because
it's like,
of the
it's
other
like
way
the
around...
little pistol kind of shot from
I remember
Bloodborne.
playing... Isn't it the same in the first Dishonored?
I think it is.
Because I remember getting really confused with the game over that and ended up swapping them around myself because I was like... I get it. I get why you've done this, but like personally, my brain has real trouble grasping that.
So I've just swapped it round. So my pistol is my left click and my thing is my right. Yeah. But like, I found this out in the worst way. So I was like, the first time I got spotted, I was a good way into the streets, and a guy just pops around and goes, "Oi, it's her!" And I'm like, oh shit. So I go, like, I run up to like stab him, and I just go, and I'm like, oh fuck, and I freeze. And, like, you know that part from Last Action Hero where the bad guy just shoots and kills a dude in the real world, and then he, like, stops and waits for the police sirens immediately to happen, and they don't? And he's like, he stops, he looks around, he fires his gun again, and, like, nothing happens. And then he literally just shouts into the street, "I have just shot and killed a man in cold blood!" And I was like a New Yorker that peers out the window. I was like, "Get out of the streets, you bum!" It's basically what happened. Like, nobody noticed that I just...
Is this a game, or is this just you popping down to Tesco?
Oh, like, little column A, little column B. But,
Derby is truly the land that law forgot.
Apparently.
Don't go out into the Derbyshire Dales, man. It's fucking wild out there.
It's the Wild West out there.
Rampaging gangs of sheep molesters.
Didn't Derbyshire Dales play like first batsman on the England 1912 cricket team?
I fucking hope so. But yeah, so like, I it's interesting. I mean, I like stealth games. I'm usually more of a third-person stealth game. Like one of my favorite is Splinter Cell Conviction. Which, as a third-person stealth game, it's phenomenal. Like that the whole, if you're hidden, then you're in black and white. If you're in the dark, you're in black and white. I thought was such an amazing thing. And Michael Ironside is such a boss.
That was a third-person.
Yeah,
that was a third-person. Yeah. Really
it was also fun because that was, and literally that was him as Daddy Sam Fisher.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Literally.
You ain't wrong.
Literally and figuratively. And yeah, Michael Ironside is fucking great.
Oh, he's great. He's terrific.
Yeah.
I have Splinter Cell Blacklist, but it's not Michael Ironside, so I've literally just never installed it.
You've just never needed to bother.
Yeah, I'm just like, well, I could just go play Conviction again and have Michael Ironside, and that'd be fine. But yeah, I'm enjoying that, and I'm looking forward to getting back to it. And also, what I've been doing is, I guess I went and bought Apocalypse box of Tyranids.
Wait.
Because I'm responsible with money.
What I like is like the story of how this happened was, so I ordered mine and it took ages to actually arrive. Well, say ages, it's supposed to...
It just took a while to get in stock.
Yeah, it took a while to get in stock because of them being what they are. And like whilst I was waiting, like we were in the food court in like the local like shopping centre, and I just asked you, like, so if you were to make like a new army, what would you have?
I was like, Tyranids.
And
I'd want a bunch of big ones. It's like basically because like, you know, I like having a high points cost, low model count. I like those kind of forces. They're fun. And
they're not
easy
super
to
great. They're not super great in 8th, but they are fun.
I don't care as long as they're fun. That's all. But yeah, and then we were like,
And as we were talking about it, you were just more and more, I really want to do this now.
Yeah, I just got more and more, like, overly hyped about it. Just like, oh shit, this is something I require.
And then it turned out
is
that
the
much like me and the
need.
Eldar thing, the, was it Spear Tip or what it's called?
Spearhead.
Spearhead, that's the one. The Spearhead Force, like, Apocalypse Force, was pretty much exactly
Yeah.
what you wanted as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
It's how they get you.
Yeah.
Yep. They've installed like spyware on our computer and just like know what we want. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of like what kind of color scheme to paint them. Because I did have like before I bought the box, we had like a bit of a counts as game. Mm-hmm. So Wib with his like counts as like Blood Angels, like custom chapter, and me with all my dreadnoughts with post-it notes on them with like
Khan effects.
Trigon. You know, Tyran effects. And I found out that Flyrants are amazing and also fucking huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
They are very large.
They're both of those things.
Because the wingspan is,
The wingspan is nuts.
And they're not fun to get into combat with.
No.
No. However, I'm really glad that you've got a Trigon, because basically
They're great.
I've always wanted an excuse to just have a Trigon around the house, because I just
You're
fucking...
talking about like it's a cat or
Yeah,
something.
I just fucking love the models for them. They're my
so
favourite
cool.
Tyrannid model.
They are
I don't know why, there's just something about them. Perhaps it's because they're like what would happen if a Tyrannid was a Graboid.
Yeah.
And that's just really cool to me.
Well, I mean, I want to get some warriors just to kind of like
Patch up Synapse
my
range stuff.
synapse range. Because for those who don't know, you need synapse creatures in your army to basically stop them from diverting to their like basic instincts of just
Mauling whatever's
Mauling
close
everything.
and not being as good at shooting.
yeah. So if you have a synapse creature within like 12 inches, or depending on what you take, 18, then they tend to not be as good, and it's tricky to control them basically. So I need to just patch up that. And
It's basically like it's kind of like the aura effects on Space Marine characters, except rather than it being an aura that is positive, they have
baseline
a
aura.
debuff by default. So you
Yeah.
have to take these to nullify that debuff.
which I think is a really interesting kind of mechanic, because someone who's basically just played Space Wolves since she started, it's a really cool kind of mix up.
Marines are fun, and there's a lot of interest.
I love my.
I mean,
my
hell, you
dreadnoughts.
play them as like an all dreadnought force, so it's
Yeah.
not even a regular Marine force, but
It's
it
my
is.
baby force.
It is very interesting to go into play games with radically different things. I mean, my main army is Orcs, and those play so much different to my Blood Angels.
Yeah.
And my Eldar are presumably going to play different to both of them by
Definitely.
being crap.
Hey.
Just balanced differently, you fool.
Oh, no, like, the build that I'm running with, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, don't run Wraithguard like this. I'm like, well, look, I'm running them like this.
Can't hear you with how much I'm running Wraithguard like this.
They're built for fun, and if I die every time, I don't mind, because I have a fun-themed army.
Okay.
And also, if I'm the Wraithguard's worst weapon is still strength 10.
Yep.
So,
Not mad about that.
But yeah, so like I'm still trying to think of like a color scheme. I was kind of like playing with the idea of like making them Doom kind of themed. Like because I fucking
High
love
Fleet
Doom.
Cacodemon.
High Fleet, yeah, there's something like that. But the thing is, it's like all the names are like.
Oh, come on. High Fleet Spider Mastermind would be great.
I thought you honestly were going to suggest High Fleet Spider-Man, which you know what? That's if I had
Not mad.
no, that's actually pretty cool.
High Fleet Man Spider would kind of make sense.
That would be fun, yeah. But I don't know. It's a tricky one because like there's no real kind of like what's the word like singular color scheme that could like draw all of them together, like Pinkies and like Hell Barons and stuff, and like they have quite different palettes of colors, which again like fluff wise would be fine for Tyrannids, but I want my army to have a bit of cohesion there, so it's a bit tricky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably going to be a bit, 'cause, I mean, they all need to be assembled, so you've got
Yeah,
time
I haven't even clipped them off the sprue yet. They're just kind of sat there in the corner going, I am a very expensive thing to trip over right now.
I mean, isn't that just the definition of Warhammer models, like, in general?
Yeah, well, no, it's an expensive thing to dust for a lot of them. But
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I've been doing.
Okay, cool. Well, like last time, we don't have the questions email.
Because Drummer Matt has kept it in his bum.
Because, by the way, all joking aside, Drummer Matt has got, like, officially married now.
Yes, he's married to Warmaster Ruth now.
And that's one of the things, because, we went to the ceremony and everything, and it was really nice.
It was really cool. We even had a surprise, like, because Drummer Matt and Ruth had put a bunch of, like, of our friends' bands on.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it turned out Matt's brother, Nat, because, Drummer Matt has two brothers, so it's Matt, Nat, and Ed. But yeah.
What Nickelodeon show from the 90s is that?
Yeah, I know, it's awesome. But yeah,
it's like the cheap knockoff of Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Drummer Matt's, like, brother had, like...
Or Pete and Pete.
Yeah, had decided that Mr. Wolf, the band that had just played, would loan us their instruments. He had told Mr. Wolf this as well.
Yeah, we didn't know.
No, and like anyone with a trumpet, like a horn, had gone and packed them up. So Zoe, our saxophone player, just was going bah, 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 just in the microphone.
So yeah, we just played one of our songs just out of nowhere. Like, oh, okay.
That was kind of nuts. Yeah,
it was really fun though, because we spent the entire night. Because once you've played in a band for like a decade, whenever you go to somewhere where bands are playing, you end up with this horrible.
People.
Yeah, well, you have this horrible like itch at the back of your brain that says that you should be getting yourself set up to play.
Yeah, my brain the whole time was like, "You've forgotten your bass guitar."
Yeah,
I was like.
So it kind of scratched that itch, so I'm grateful of it. And it was a lot of fun.
It was fun. But yes, so congratulations to Drummer Matt and Ruth.
Yes.
Yay, congrats.
It was lovely, and...
they've been together for like 11 years.
Yeah, they've been together a long time.
Yeah.
So they've been living in sin.
I mean, I'm married and I'm still living in sin.
Oh, yeah.
They ain't fucking special. But yes... Questions. Okay, so yeah, we're doing what we did last time, and
we
put a thing up on Twitter, and now we will do the asking of the questions.
So we're going to go through them. I'm sorry if we don't get to every single one of them.
We're going to try though,
but we'll get to as many as we can, and we'll answer these questions. So the first one, funnily enough, comes from very real, actual YouTuber and not another person entirely faking it, Herkness Dragonblade.
I love that guy.
That guy is prime hobby content.
Oh yeah, he's the one. He uses like the fanciest glue. He knows everything, and he's got his own custom chapter.
And he is asking, what is the worst thing that Gamers Workshop has done? One,
those Gamers Workshop always is up to no good.
Is it comedy goblins in a serious setting, monkeys with technology in serious setting, way too cheap prices for kids, or every edition except 4th edition? Oh, expect 4th edition, but I'm going to read between the lines and think he's saying except 4th edition.
Yeah.
No, I think he might absolutely have the courage of his own language convictions.
That is true.
No, he knows what he's saying.
He says
honestly, he knows more about 40k than any of us have ever forgotten. Wait, no, it's the other way
around.
And
any of you out there, like you think you might know 40k. No, this man is a true gamer.
This man knows more than anyone else. He is a true gamer TM of the 40ks and every other tabletop system.
But we should answer his question as quickly as possible.
I would say the worst thing about it is that it's too cheap. And it's obviously aimed at children, which is ruining everything, because if more people can enjoy my hobby, I get angry.
It's a zero-sum game. The more people enjoy something, the less your enjoyment is.
Exactly.
So children should not be able to enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree on this, because children will never have experienced the just absolute gaming purity that is Warhammer 40,000 4th edition.
It's not for children.
They never will be. And the more of these casual children that get involved with our
hobby.
Because we own it.
Our hobby.
No, sorry, dear. You don't own it because you're not a white man, so you don't own it.
Oh, shit. Okay, sorry. Can I tag along?
You can tag along, but just know that
I'm on thin fucking ice.
Yeah, you're on thin ice.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. It's okay. It's one of those things.
And the more children that get involved with this hobby, the less likely it is for us to return to those days when everything made sense.
And also, boob plate.
I'm going to go on to the next question.
That's probably for the best. I've got the devil in me today, apparently.
The next one is from Christian, asking, what is our favourite genre for stories, movies, or games? And mine would be sci-fi, as a general rule of thumb. Okay. I have a bit of a soft spot for sci-fi horror, which you don't get as often as I'd like.
Dead Space 2 is my favourite sci-fi horror game ever.
Well, it's like, I really like Dead Space, and things like Alien and like John Carpenter's The Thing are some of my favourite movies ever. So, how about you guys?
Sci-fi is going to really be the only answer here. Like, as much as I absolutely love fantasy, science fiction has a bit more breadth, I guess, in scope. You can kind of do more with it, and plus you can kind of almost build fantasy elements into sci-fi if you need to.
That's all 40k is, really.
Yeah, definitely.
And Star Wars.
I'd say I'm a bit more terrible and indecisive about this, so I occasionally like my romance. I love action movies so much, and like Doom 2016 is a great just kind of what I love video game wise as well. I also really like RPGs. That's cool. So yeah, if that helps.
Okay.
And horror. I really like horror stories, even though I'm a massive wuss.
Following on from that, Charlotte Owen asks, how grimdark do we like our sci-fi and fantasy? And there's also a picture of her lizard doing the Godzilla roar, by the way.
It is a very sweet picture.
Pumpkin
which is amazing.
is the best boy. He's a very good darling.
That lizard's named Pumpkin, and that's brilliant. But yeah, I personally, I do have a soft spot for, like, really grim and, like, oppressive sci-fi. But I think I do need a break from that every now and again, and that's why I love things like Star Trek, because there's always that kind of hopeful element to it. And I think, to me, it's always a bit of a balance thing. Like, I like really grimdark, like
Alien 1.
Yeah, like that really kind of, like, just everything is shit kind of sci-fi. But it depends on my mood, really. I think that's kind of true of a lot of people as well. So, but yeah, you guys.
I don't have a preference necessarily. It's a bit, and my answer is going to be an absolute total and utter cop out, because it depends on what the actual thing is. Like, I love 40K because it is so utterly ludicrously over the top grimdark. Like, that's absolutely one of the best compelling things about it. But it's grimdark. It's grimdark in a cartoon way, as opposed to grim and dark in a visceral, ouch, this really hurts me in my sensitive to in 2019 mentality.
Okay, yeah, I get that's actually a good point.
I get you.
Like there's a different, and it might not necessarily be the most apt comparison, but like I think like there's a difference between the cartoon gothic madness of 40K or the 80s corporate dystopia of something like RoboCop. And even though RoboCop is, it's a Paul Verhoeven, so it's naturally a bit of a satire in its own right, it's still like the time, how time has ended up advancing, those corporate dystopias of the 80s are a little bit more real than anyone is entirely comfortable with. So the cartoon element, like, entirely is super compelling for me. Like, I also like my fantasy, like Jack Kirby's Fourth World. I like it ludicrous and over the top and colorful and happy and insane. It doesn't necessarily have to have a grim ending. Like, it just has to be compelling, I guess. I don't know. That's a cop-out answer that doesn't really go
not
anywhere.
at all, dude.
I like it grimdark. But I also like it when it is not grimdark, and that's why I like Star Trek.
Yeah.
So, same as Wib.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it says a lot. Like, I am primarily known online for
getting into Star Trek rants.
Well, yeah, but after that, it's for talking about 40K, which is the archetypical grimdark thing. Yet my favourite show I've watched in the last 6 months is Steven Universe, which is like a show made entirely out of hope and love, like as its core themes.
Steven Universe is one of those things where it's like I haven't managed to get my boyfriend into it yet, because season 1 does take its time and it can come off as incredibly saccharine, and he also refuses to skip filler episodes, which is
okay.
You can totally skip the Uncle Grandpa episode.
I actually love that one, if only for Pearl's reactions to absolutely everything.
Okay, it's actually a fair point.
But like, I love Steven Universe because it's just so like ceaselessly wholesome.
Yeah.
And I know that might be off-putting to people, but it's also nice to have.
Sometimes it's just nice to watch something where it says, "Hey, we can build a better world out of empathy."
Yeah, let's just like really, really try and understand and love each other, and maybe life will get better.
And the movie comes out
sure,
in September.
You can be as cynical about that all you want. That doesn't stop it from being good and compelling to other people.
Yeah.
So
it made me happy to watch. And it was also nice to see a kid's show that was gay as fuck. So, it was
Heck yeah.
I mean, there's also that. Yeah. Like, honestly, the episode that I'll always end up going back to is the episode where the postman falls in love at first sight with Garnet,
Yeah.
and then they go through the whole farce and rigmarole and blah blah blah. But then you get that beautiful scene at the end where Garnet sits him down and is just like, "Listen, love at first sight is absolute bullshit. Relationships are work; they're constant work that needs constant attention, and you have to be super dedicated to the person that you know deeply and love deeply. It isn't just something that can happen overnight, and you need to get rid of this idea." And I'm looking at that just going, holy shit, that is the most mature treatment of relationships I have ever seen from any bit of kids media ever. Like, and that's important.
Yeah, there's like a bit it's one of the later seasons, so I won't, it kind of ties into like bigger things, so I won't like get into the specifics, but there is a part where, because like Stephen becomes like the center of, he's like the support group of all of them, really. Is like the and there is a bit towards the end where Amethyst just refuses to talk to him about the bad shit going on and says, "No, because you do this all the time. This is putting so much on you. It is unfair for us to place all of this on you all the time." Because they do end up like, because he is the one who is able to do that, they end up putting that on him. And I was like, wow, that's a really kind of saying that sometimes you have, like, I know someone can be there for you a lot, but there is a limit to how much they can take, and it is unfair to just constantly do that and not be asking them how they are as well, because it takes emotional toll. And it's like, this show is for kids.
It's important
This
stuff.
is brilliant. So yeah, that's like the duality of man. Some represent
the duality of man is that you can love 40K and have loved it since you were 13 years old, but you can also love Steven Universe at the same time. Which, as far if you want to take it, they're pretty much on opposite ends of the science fiction spectrum. Like, I don't think you could get poles that are more further apart than those are.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'd say, again, I gotta echo Oculus there and say I like grimdark if it's done in like the mustachioed monocle kind of way that 40K does it.
Yeah.
But like, I literally like, my ideal kind of sci-fi is either The Fifth Element or Firefly. Like, so Firefly's kind of like the comedic kind of, everything's a bit shit, but it's okay because we're gonna keep soldiering on. And
everything's shit, but it's okay. We've got each other.
And they're like,
everything's shit, and we don't have jobs, and
it's basically the gig economy taken to the nth degree.
Pretty much.
But yeah, and like for fantasy, it's Terry Pratchett. Just Terry Pratchett for me. That's like, because it has its dark and sad and upsetting moments, but it also has its very funny, silly moments.
I've said it on many occasions. Terry Pratchett is such a large influence on who I am as a person.
Hard same.
Like, my sense of humor, a lot of core values straight up come from that book, sort of going, hey, by the way, this is sort of using our allegory to sort of address issues. And I don't know, he just always had some very insightful things to say, and I think it did a lot of very positive things.
That man did so much amazing good. Bless him. But yeah, that's my somewhat bittersweet answer, because now I'm sad that Terry Pratchett's gone.
I've got a good answer. Good question next.
Okay.
From Longfang, who was on the last podcast.
Oh yes, Long Daddy.
Who has the finest booty in the Imperium?
Garviel Loken. He is a tasty boy. And I don't care who knows it. That booty survived all sorts.
Alfarius, because there's two of them.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh no!
How can we argue with that?
That's a perfect fucking response, and I feel deep shame.
I feel that it would actually be someone who we wouldn't expect.
Eisenhorn.
Because, so you'd expect something like, Fulgrim.
Oh, Angron's got like the most perfect ass.
No, it would be like Perturabo.
No,
because his
like,
name's
no.
Perturabo.
No, Perturabo is a fucking dick, and he's a nerd, and I don't like him.
Yeah, but that's the grim dark level of it.
Oh,
He has the most perfect ass,
but you hate him.
But no one, like, they're all go, yeah, your ass is perfect, but you're the worst.
Taking it to the logical extension of it's someone we don't expect. It would be like Uber Amos, like Eisenhorn Savant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, like
That would be, perfect.
yeah. No, my vote is for Alfarius. There's my 20th Legion fanboy.
Just so I don't have the same answer as Oculus, I'm just going to say, like, Loken.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to stick with Perturabo just because I am enjoying that pun far too much.
Yeah, I can tell, yeah.
Okay, now we've got one that I think that you'll enjoy, Oculus. 5 favourite kaiju. And who would win?
Oh, jeez. Favorite.
Oh.
And who would win?
God.
Like, I mean, come on. The answers.
This is from Mr. Sketchers, by the way, the question.
Hi. Good to get the question. The answer is who is win is just always going to be Godzilla, and it will forever be Godzilla. Like, that's
the point of Godzilla.
That's not.
Okay.
It's the point of him, and there's not a debate. As far as favorites, Godzilla, Gamera, Gigan,
Pulgasari.
Mothra. Pulgasari.
What about Yongari?
Young Gary.
What about the remake of Yongari, where it's even worse?
Young Gary. That's my favourite way of saying it, like you're from Yorkshire.
He went down to city.
He went to pit. Young Gary worked into pit. Till their shots took mines.
I still haven't picked out number 5. No, this is going to be something that blanks on me entirely because I have a fifth option.
Zilla
but I have
from
no idea what to do with.
the TriStar Godzilla.
I'm gonna be very basic and have it be Godzilla, Gamera, Gigan, Mothra, and Ghidorah. Like I don't
Good
really
selection there.
Yeah.
I don't really need to go into too much more depth beyond that. They are just the best. I'm not gonna say like Titanosaurus. Runner up is Reptilicus.
Okay. I'm gonna go for Zombie Godzilla.
You mean GMK version?
Yeah. That's my favorite.
Yeah, GMK Godzilla's really cool.
So cool. And I'm gonna go for Baragon just because of the suit actress.
Oh, that's such a good choice. Damn it.
And the suit in GMK is also
suit is
really
super
good
cute
looking.
too.
Such a good upgrade.
Biolante for sure.
Oh yeah.
Fucking love Biolante. Gauss.
Controversial opinion. Biolante is cool looking and all, but doesn't really do much.
I know,
Oh,
but
yeah,
she's
totally.
so cool. But no, not Gauss. What's the
Which one? Because Gauss is the flying
Gauss
one from
yeah,
Gamera.
Gauss is the flying one, just because it's a big scary flying.
Especially when you
kaiju.
deal with Millennium Era ones, and those look really good.
Yeah.
Not Millennium Era, the 90s era Heisei ones.
Oh, what's my last one? I'm not going to say Jet Jaguar just to be a contrarian.
No one's favourite is Jet Jaguar.
No. I'm going to say Toto.
Toto.
Yeah.
Toto is adorable, yeah.
Toto is the cutest.
If you don't know at home, Toto is the version of Gamera from Gamera the Brave, which is possibly, I think, is the
a really good
easiest.
family
It's the
movie.
easiest kaiju film for anyone to watch because it's just like a family movie that just
entirely.
happens to contain giant monsters.
And
It's
it's
great.
got, and like Toto is a baby turtle for
Yes.
a little while, and this is so cute. But yeah, what about you, Wibbo?
Mine would probably be basically the same as Oculus's, except swap out Mothra for Biolante and maybe Ghidorah for Kiryu.
Oh, Kiryu's cool. Yeah.
That's that is a solid diss on Mothra.
I like
Poor
Mothra.
Mothra.
I like Mothra, but I just like the other one. It's mostly in terms of design.
Yeah.
Like to be.
That's
to
fair.
Be straight up.
That is fair enough. I will just stan a queen who shows up and does nothing except die.
Yeah, but she does it like so awesomely.
Except in
Oh,
what is
yeah.
it? What's the one with Batra in Save the Earth?
Fucking Batra.
Batra's also really rad as well.
Batra's pretty rad.
But that's like
It's just the name that fucks me up.
That's the one. Oh, it's Battle Mothra.
No, it sounds like bad Mothra. It's like a portmanteau.
Pretty sure
But
that's
that'd be
entirely
Wara.
what it was.
It would be, but like it's like in English.
Yeah.
So
But in that one, Mothra's actually more effective because she's got like an energy beam weapon.
she's like. You know what? I was really pissed off about the new Godzilla movie. How they had Rodan in it, and it did do its weird cough.
Yeah, the weird cough
It did
roar
just
that
get-
it sometimes does.
I was like, okay.
That's true.
I was waiting for that, and it didn't happen.
Also, how good was the King Ghidorah design in King of the Monsters?
It
Oh,
was
so
so
good.
good.
Oh, that is the best
so
looking Ghidorah we've ever had.
That was so rad.
And also, I thought King of the Monsters was a really good representation of like the old Godzilla movies, but being a modern like Hollywood movie.
Yeah. But
Entirely, right down to the absolutely inexcusably terrible dialogue.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a proper old school Godzilla movie unless you sit there and go, "Wow, these actors aren't great." Some exceptions, obviously, but yeah. But anyway, moving on. Mort has asked us, would we get a Kill Team Bat Rep from us at some point?
No, it's like, would a Kill Team Bat Rep be possible from you both? Yes. Will we do it?
Maybe we have got another Bat Rep. I don't think it's going to be a Kill Team one, but
Yeah.
that will be happening soon because our
Channel
channel has
anniversary soon.
channel anniversary happened on the 22nd of July. We've been doing this for 7 years now. Fucking hell. And we also passed 25k subscribers, so we'll do a thing that's like a thing for both of those.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hans the Dragon has asked, I'm dying to know with the current heat, chocolate or vanilla ice cream. But really, though, favourite flavour of ice cream. With me, it's anything that's like caramel or like that kind of thing. I love caramel ice
I
cream.
like chocolate ice cream, and I like chocolate brownie ice cream, and I really like fruity ice cream
Okay.
with chunks of fruit in it. What about Oculus? I was
I
going to
will
call you
genuinely
Oculus.
Oculus?
You are Oculus. You own everything. like just you and me are gonna get that. Like no one else will.
Oculus.
You own everything.
You own everything. Shout out to the fans.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't say that I will go for any other type of flavor other than a really good vanilla. Like nothing. I know that is the most
fancy
boring answer
vanilla.
possible, but nothing trumps one. With
Really
the
good
exception
vanilla is very nice.
Yeah, with the exception of perhaps Ben and Jerry's fish food, because I just love that.
Ben and Jerry's is a demon that should not be allowed.
Quite.
As a
too
bonus
tasty.
question, just a quick one, which Space Marine character would you like to get an ice cream with? For me, this is a very personal one, but I once drew a picture of, and I wish I could find it because I wanted to
Oh, no,
colour it
I
up,
hate that picture.
of a lamenter with an ice cream cone and the ice cream's fallen out of it.
He looks so sad.
And I want to go and get one with whatever lamenter is alive to go and give him the ice cream that I stole from him with that picture.
That's good. That's good.
Me, Araman, pre-fall.
Okay.
He just seems like he'd be really excellent conversation.
Yeah, I actually get that.
Fulgrim.
Oh, I mean, he would get you to the best ice cream possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he'd somehow find an ice cream parlor that gave you a happy ending. And I'm like, I just have to see.
It's like, I didn't need that, but I'm not mad it happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, another question from the Noob Painter. And there's two questions. These are both for you, Oculus.
Oh, okay.
There's a serious question and a throwaway question. The serious question...
Lovely, I love those.
The serious question is, how did you come up with the best Twitter handle ever?
That's the serious question. The serious question is, hey, why do you have butt stuff in your Twitter handle? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, my Twitter handle is buttstuffkaiju, and I came up with it because not only do I like kaiju, no,
I don't think you need to say anything more, do you?
no. What it actually is a reference to is funny. If you brought up Matt Fraction earlier on, one Halloween. Because remember back in the day there was this whole Twitter thing where you change your Twitter handle to something kind of spooky around about Halloween. I don't know. Is that still going?
Yeah, it's still going.
Oh yeah, no, I did it last year. It was like Oculus Imperia, but he's a corpse.
Yeah, that was what was Oculus Imperia, but he's a ghost or something.
Spooky.
See, I tend to
no.
just kind of like cop out and just go, I like werewolves, I'll be a werewolf.
And actually, on the note of Matt Fraction and werewolves, back in the day, a few ages Halloweens back, Matt Fraction's Twitter handle got changed to Butt Stuff Werewolf. And I'm just like, that's too perfect to let slide. So I took it. And I did it before Oculus Imperia really became a thing. And while I had something of an official Twitter account for the channel, I'm just like, I'm not going to use this nearly as much. And I have something of a base with my actual Twitter handle I have here. So cool. And now I'm stuck. Now I'm forever stuck in...
This Butt Stuff Kaiju.
As Butt Stuff Kaiju that's going to be representing my internet brand going forward, which is... It's a wonderful thing because, like... I have damned myself if I ever want to get involved with just like, hey, Creative Assembly, let's play another Warhammer game.
It's me, Butt Stuff Kaiju, and they're like, okay.
I absolutely love how at the end of your videos, which are these very serious, like in-universe lore things, and then at the end it's like, keep up with the channel at Butt Stuff Kaiju. It's like, that's a tonal shift.
I love it. It's amazing.
I get at least one comment every video just being like, hey dude, I loved your work, please don't change your Twitter handle, because hearing it at the end really takes me out of my immersion. And I kind of love it because I kind of want to keep it there to be like, yeah, cool, immersion's great, but the video is also over, and it's fun to have something stupid and dumb as your Twitter handle.
In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only vanilla. There's no butt stuff.
In the grim darkness of the far future, there is a chronicler whose name is Butt Stuff.
In the future,
it's
pronounced
words, butt stoof.
Yeah, it's pronounced radically different. You just be, it's like how there's several names that were like normal back in the day, but now
my brain's just like, it'll look really fancy, like you've got your last name in a different language, like your name would be like Stephen Gutentag, or something. It's just like, oh, that's fancy.
Do you want the throwaway question?
Yes, I can't believe that wasn't the throwaway question, but yes.
Which is, which I think they might have switched these round for comic effect. Which is what got you into doing 40k lore videos?
Oh, what got me into doing it? Oh man, that's a story. So when I started the channel, my life situation was pretty shitty. Long story short, I was applying for Canadian permanent residency. I made a spectacularly bad choice to go with an immigration lawyer instead of just doing it myself. And I ended up in a position where my first application got rejected, and I had to send off to the FBI in the United States to get a federal background clearance, which you have to do to come into Canada in the first place. If you lived in the United States for any period of time, which I had for a year. But the problem is that the FBI required a 16-week wait for them to actually clear you. So that just it was just a cascading series of things that ended up leaving me in a position where, like, you can be in Canada, but you can't work. Like, I was just here on visitor status. So I was just like, I was living with my boyfriend. I was doing absolutely fuck all with my life in general. And I was just like, I really need to do something. So here, I will teach myself the Adobe Creative Suite and video and audio editing through YouTube. And I discovered that I needed a project to actually kind of keep myself consistent and give myself material to practice with. And from there, Oculus Imperia was born. I was on YouTube a fair bit. I was seeing lore channels and listening to lore channels like Remliez, and seeing that, like, oh, these are really cool. Like, I love the idea. Like, I love 40k lore. I have since I was 13. But I was thinking, like, wouldn't it be interesting if someone just did it from like an in-universe history kind of perspective? Because my academic background from college is history. So I kind of just threw a whole bunch of stuff together and cut the pilot episode and the early episodes, which are painful for me to listen to these days.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Yeah, tell me about it. And then I made a couple, and then made the Legion as Astartes creation video. And it went up, I put it up on 40k lore, and the post absolutely took off, and that's where the channel took off.
Oh, on the subreddit.
It's just kind of, on the subreddit, 40k lore, sorry.
Yeah.
And that's how it happened. Like, it spun out of a creative endeavor to keep myself sane at basically the worst part of my entire life. And now it's taken off in such a huge way that I'm entirely grateful for it. I'm grateful for all the support from everyone and all the feedback from everyone in those early days and ongoing. Yeah, so it's actually got a happy story, and I quite like it.
Yeah.
Like it's something I turned myself to when everything was shit, and now it's wonderful. So yeah, that's how it happened.
That's a good story.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I think there's, quite a few people starting, 'cause it's not a million miles away from sort of why we ended up starting doing stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
Except without the emigration things.
Yeah, that's like expert mode.
Yeah. and I think it's one of those things that doesn't, it's, sometimes you don't want to necessarily talk about these things so much because of you don't want to parasocial relationship too much.
Yeah.
But yes, these when you make these things and get through a sort of, you're in a rough place, then the support you get on these kind of endeavors, it can be really important, and it really kind of buoys you, and you go, okay, yeah, things might be shit, but I'm doing this thing and people really are really enjoying it, and that makes me want to make more, and it gives you the drive to make other parts of your life better as well, because
Absolutely.
Something that you're doing out of passion is really endearing to people.
Yeah.
Okay, so Manimal has asked, what's the lore behind my new craft world and your hive fleet? I've already mentioned about my craft world is actually going to be an Exodite force that's, all the Wraith things are statues. So that's what that's going to be. You've not got anything for your hive
I
fleet
don't know, but I'm probably just going to make it Doom related. So it's they were experimenting with trying to harness the warp for energy, and Magnus did everything wrong, and then Tyrannus happened, and yeah. Something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
The Anphelion Project.
Yes.
RNG God has asked, would we rather fight 100 Nurgling-sized Bloodthirsters or a Bloodthirster-sized Nurgling?
Ugh.
All right, I'm going to stop you there because, quite frankly, the concept of a Bloodthirster-sized Nurgling is too terrifying to even contemplate.
Yeah, that's perfect shin height. Don't like that.
And that would be the Nurgling-sized Bloodthirster.
Yeah, well, shut up.
Yeah, no, but that's a very good point. My shins would be absolutely annihilated.
Yeah. You just have ankles attached to your knees, it'd be terrible.
I'm going to say neither. I don't want to be in that situation at all.
I want to fight a Bloodthirster-sized Nurgling.
I think that's the one I'd probably go for, because I think that's the one that's going to be the least efficient at murdering.
I'm going to beat the snot out of it, literally.
Okay.
It could probably be distracted fairly easily.
Yeah, or I could just, pressure wash it and it'd just die.
So there we go. Okay. Alex Brown has asked, what do we have a favourite book series or author? I've already mentioned it, Discworld for me.
Terry Pratchett, yeah.
Terry Pratchett, yeah.
Oh, so this isn't necessarily a 40k related one. I mean, I have a favourite book. It's not a series, but my favourite book of all time would be Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke.
Okay.
Because it is a essentially Regency novel that has a in-world historiography to it, and I know that it's bloated and it's plodding and it can be just nega fun to some people, but I adore it. I adore every part of it and every aspect of it, and I'll reread it once every couple of years. It just can't get enough of that book.
I'd say Terry Pratchett. My favorite book that I can think of right now is still Night Watch by Terry Pratchett. I fucking love that book.
That is my favourite one.
It is an amazing
That is my
book.
favourite of the Discworld series.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, and last question, which is another kaiju related one.
Okay.
Which is, and also related to some earlier things, which is, which kaiju has the best booty? And that's from
Shin Godzilla.
Yeah, no, he thick.
Oh, Shin Godzilla is thick.
Yeah, that was from
Godzilla-
Cake, by the way.
Oh yes, that was from Cake. That was the person who asked that question, was Cake.
But Shin Godzilla has the booty and the thighs.
Yeah, I can't really argue with that too much.
Perfect.
They are pretty chunky, and they're chunky in all the right places.
Yeah, chunky boy.
Also,
Gigan's one is probably cybernetic.
Yeah,
probably got a buzzsaw in the centre of it as well, so you don't want to go near that.
scary.
You approach him from behind, the cheeks part, and suddenly...
Like, oh no.
Like, oh god, I thought I was flanking him, but it turns out that he was one step ahead.
With his butt saw.
Come on, he's a space robot chicken made out of chainsaws. Like, I mean...
Yeah.
But Saw Kaiju is my backup account.
Perfect.
But yeah, I'm very sorry we won't be able to get to any more questions, but we're already literally right now late to do the stream that we were supposed to do 13 minutes ago. So sorry, past people.
Sorry,
And
people.
Talked about Star Trek Voyager too much.
Is there such a thing?
So yeah, thank you very much for everyone for listening, and thank you very much, Oculus, for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for tolerating us.
Shush, thank you so much for having me. This was an absolute blast. I'm so happy we got the chance to do this.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's been awesome having you on, dude.
And if people want to find you on that old internet, where can they find you?
Funnily enough, the Oculus Imperia YouTube channel shares the same name as I do.
Oh.
You can find me on YouTube. I'm Oculus Imperia. I make lore videos with an in-universe perspective. It's a lot of fun.
They're very good. Watch them.
Mm-hmm. If you want to hear someone pretending to be a fake historian for a fake universe, and beyond that, I'm on a few episodes of Text to Speech. I will be on the upcoming fantasy special, which was the most fun voice acting I have ever had. And beyond that, I'm on Twitter at ButtStuffKaiju, as previously noted. I talk about shite and will sometimes post funny pictures.
And you can guarantee that you will post at least one funny image per month.
Yeah.
At least once.
At least once.
At least one. On average.
I can't guarantee two, but at least one.
Yeah, exactly.
I refuse to make that commitment.
No, it's unreasonable, quite frankly. But yeah, we should probably get off now.
Yeah, we probably should.
Okay, thank you very much for listening, everybody. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.